In this video, we're going to learn a little bit about the elements. So here's the periodic table. First thing you need to know about periodic table is that the periods are these horizontal rows. So hydrogen and helium are in period 1. Period 2 has lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon, etc., etc. The groups are also known as families, and group 1 is also known as 1A, is hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, etc., etc. These are called families and groups because they have similar chemical properties. So you'll find actually that hydrogen reacts with oxygen. Well, so does lithium. And you know that water has the formula H2O. Later in this class, we're going to start understanding how lithium will react with oxygen to form Li2O, and Na2O and K2O are also compounds that exist. So elements that are in the same group will have similar chemical properties, and all of these main groups, you can put A's after them. Some periodic tables will number all the groups. This should actually be 8A, not 0. So that's an 8 there. Sometimes you'll see group 1, 2, and then it goes here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13 with boron, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So it's kind of convenient that there's 10 here because you could say group 3A or group 13. I'm probably going to consistently show you this 1A, 2A, 3A way of looking at it, but I'm just saying if you look up a periodic table, you may see the transition metals, which are these guys. You may see them, their groups numbered as well, and then you'd hit 13 for anything over in this block, 13, 14, 15, and up. One more thing. The periodic table has different regions, if you will. The vast majority of the periodic table is metals of one type or another. And so you can see that's why all these elements are blue. And pretty much anything to the left and down of this staircase that's here, pretty much anything to the left and down of it is going to be a metal. The only exception is hydrogen, but hydrogen you may know of as being the gas that filled the Hindenburg, for example. There are nonmetals that are to the right and above, so there are a few of them. And pretty much anything that's on this staircase is going to be called a metalloid. An exception, of course, is aluminum, but you better know that aluminum is a metal. Polonium is a little bit like this, the color is off a little bit. Polonium is pretty metallic, but I'm not going to be splitting hairs on that, testing you guys. And also the fact that astatine is touching the staircase, but is considered a nonmetal is really unimportant because astatine barely exists in the universe at any given time. There's only a few grams of it, so it will never show up in any problems that I'll ask you about. So just some properties of the different types of elements. Metals will be solids at room temperature, the exception, of course, being mercury. Mercury being this guy right here, Hg. You know it from mercury thermometers. Metals are ductile. Ductile means they are able to be drawn into a wire. So can make into wire. Oi, my computer is very laggy today. Can make into wire. Metallic luster, they're shiny, basically. Malleable. This is a term that we use, blacksmiths use it. This is for like when you can hammer something into sheets. So can hammer, it's not brittle. Can hammer into sheets. And metals, of course, are good conductors of heat and electricity. All of them will be good conductors of heat and electricity. They will vary in terms of different properties. For example, the alkali metals in group one, so what lithium and down, they are very, very soft. You can cut them with a butter knife. And then, like iron, by contrast, is quite hard. And mercury is a liquid, so forget about like, cutting it. Um, so there will be a lot of variation among the properties of metals, but one thing that's absolutely true is that they're all going to be very good conductors. They'll also be very shiny. Um, Non-metals could be solids, liquids, or gas. Most of them will be gases. There's only one other liquid on the periodic table, and that's bromine. So there's mercury and bromine are the only two liquids at room temperature and normal pressure. Um, there are some solids, carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium, and iodine. Otherwise, oh, and astatine. Otherwise, we have gases. They are dull, they're not shiny looking. They're brittle, you can't hammer them into sheets, and they're good insulators. They don't really conduct heat or electricity very well. They actually insulate from them. And metalloids are somewhat in between. They often will be metallic looking, they'll be nice and shiny, but if you hit them with a hammer, they'll break, they'll be brittle. And so they also are not exactly conductive, but they're not exactly insulators, they'll be semiconductors. We're going to learn a lot more about the different groups on the periodic table and how their reactivities differ, etc., over the course of this class. But for now, this is what you should know about the periodic table and the elements. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Thank you.